No, I leave it strictly for weddings now. That's it.
Yeah.
I get a little loose, and then that's it. You know, like it's game over. I'm gonna spin on my head for like 5 minutes and regret it for 2 weeks.
And then his neck's gonna be hurting the next day.
Yeah.
You're gonna head spin a whole new hairline, bro. It's gonna bring your hairline back even further.
That's actually why that's why it betrayed me, man. It was so mad from all those spins from back in the day. Yeah, dude. Yeah, no, those times were great, man. Like just just being like the hip hop scene here in Monterey with all you guys, man. I just remember that. Oh man, so good. Good memories.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
And of course, Marlo, how long have you been tattooing? Actually, you've been a huge influence in the community through your art for many years. From starting in your garage to working your way up to having your own shop. Home studio.
Okay.
Home studio. We're starting at your home studio, and now you have your very own shop. And again, you had many people in and out of your shop, and tell us a little bit about your background, so the people who don't know you.
Well, I actually didn't want to get a tattoo. I was kind of forced into it. My husband and his family, pretty pushy. They tried for like especially my husband, about 5.5 years, tried to get me into. I've been this my whole life, so that wasn't the issue. It was the whole idea of tattooing somebody with blood and all this kind of stuff. And so when you're a hypochondriac, it's kind of hard to envision that you're touching people's bodily fluids and stuff.
Yeah.
So at first I shied away from it, and then one day he brought a kid home and I tattooed the shit out of these. I did 3 honeydew melons. I did one a day, and I saved that shit for like months. My house smelled like rotten melons. On day four, I tattooed my husband. He was watching basketball or something, sitting in the living room, and I just went to town on his leg. After that, I was hooked. Now I think I used a shader on his whole leg. I was like, oh, I think this is right. Let's see what YouTube says. I started out like that. It was a little tough for me, and then once I got my groove, and I tried to, venture out. Some of the shops out here were kind of like, what's the nice word I could say? Not accepting. How's that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I just, and I'm pretty competitive, so I just kept going at it. Went out of town. Got some influence from other artists who took me under their wing, and I just went from there and got into Earthbound. Started out as just as an artist there, and then my friend decided to move on, and my husband just jumped on it and bought it. So it's been 6.5 years now we've owned it, but it's been pretty. It's been a good ride. It's in the beginning it was rough, but I'm pretty resilient, pretty tough girl. Yeah. And just pulled through, and here I am today. About 15 and a half years now.
15 and a half years, man.
That's dope, man. That's dope. And it seems like your husband played a big influence in everything that got
I wouldn't
you started.
Be tattooing.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't be tattooing if it wasn't for him. So I give him all the credit. Now he's pretty humble when it comes to that. He usually is in the background. He only pops up if something kind of goes down or somebody acts up. Then all of a sudden you see that one.
Regulators.
And anybody who knows my husband knows he don't play. So, but he usually stays in the background.
What kind of challenges did you have being a female in the industry?
Well, you deal with some sexist shit. You deal with male egos. Because you're coming in. It's a male-dominant industry. Let's just be honest. So you definitely have to have a skill set, and you definitely have to be strong. You can't be the type of woman that just falls prey to some of these guys. You know what I mean? And so if you fall under that type of person, you kind of just get run over. You gotta be tough. You gotta be strong. You gotta hold your own, but you also gotta have a strong skill set. If you don't have that, then you might as well just hang it up. So you have to, first and foremost, you have to have the skill, and then from there you gotta just tough it out. I mean, that's just from a female's perspective, but like I said, a pushover. So, it was tough in the beginning, but I used that to feel that flame. And so here I am today.
Yeah, I
Orlando,
feel
what
that.
kind of struggles did you have to deal with, like coming up? You know what I'm saying? Like as a young dude, how'd you make yourself excel to have your own shop and all that? Like,
Oh man, just staying quiet and ruffling the right feathers. That's it. I mean, when I first started, like you said, man, I already came from an accomplished situation. Like I was like the world's okayest breakdancer. So like this, and that comes from like having that hip hop battling. Like every day, it's just like, oh, someone said that he's better than you, and this and that. So like you do show up. Like that's kind of like the wrong ego to show up with when you want to start tattooing. When you're like in your early 20s, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, what's up? Like, who's here? Like who says that they're better than me? Because that is like the hip hop mentality. Like the battle rap and the b-boy and yeah, so I really, one of the biggest hurdles was like literally to destroy my ego for the first time, like just walk in and be like, I don't know nothing about this, and also, like doing, the little graffiti on the notebooks and stuff like that in high school, and like definitely, if you have that artist background and you feel accomplished in one thing, you try to bring it into another, and you're like, oh crap, man, like because tattooing is a totally different game. I can't compare myself to the shit that females have in the industry. Like I mean, they have to have my hurdles and then some. So it's just like it's wild, man. Like I've always had my shop be a number one for female shop. Like, hey, I'm gonna treat you like I would treat me. I'm not going to disrespect you. I'm not going to think you're less than me. I'm not going to think you're. I mean, on the contrary, I love the power that women have in tattooing when they get past all of those hurdles, and then all of a sudden they're like, "Yeah, I'm a female tattooer." People seek that out. They love that. And I'm just sitting there going, "Man, I could have done that tattoo so sick," but they chose her because she's. I gotta deal with that. Like that's cool. Like because it is. It's like one of those things where it's dope. Like I mean, I trained my kid's mom how to tattoo. Like that's a hurdle.
Well, on the flip side, on the flip side of that, just to kind of add to what he said, yeah, sometimes the women get chosen, but sometimes, like in my case, they come in, they think Marlo's a guy, and they'll walk in and they'll say, "Hey, I'm looking for Marlo. Is he in?" I just kind of like, she is right here. Oh shit, you're a woman. I get that. I'm like, oh man, talk about ruffling my hair, man. My hair's already curly.
So when that situation comes up, though, is it like, yo, let me show you what the fuck I can do real quick, or is it like, fuck
yes,
you?
they do.
Like, you're a fucking asshole.
I'm not trying to be vain or anything, but yeah, you have to be confident. You have
Hell
to.
yeah.
But your work has to also be on point. So if you're a shitty tattoo artist, but you're still boasting about your skills, you know what I mean? There's an imbalance there. So, you gotta be mindful. I learned to stay humble and my work speak for itself. But there's times when somebody comes in the shop, and especially a male, and they're demanding. Like I had a guy come in one time and said, I got $700. He threw this picture on my desk. He goes, I want you to do that, and I want you to do it today. And I was like, no, and no. And he looked at me and he was like, what? $700? I said, brother, that's not gonna cover your line work. You give me 400 more, that's your line work. And then you come back next time, bring me 8, and then we'll finish you up. He's like, fuck, that much? I go, yeah. So he left, and as he was leaving, he called me a fucking bitch.
Oh shit.
Yeah. And he turned around, and all my clients were like, Marlo. I was like, oh my god, what did I just do now? You know what I mean? He got me. And I was like, and I'm next to some hair salons, so a lot of women come in and out. So here they are. They see this big ass Hawaiian chick running outside, and like, fuck you.
And they know it's an issue. Something's going on. Like,
yeah. So sometimes that happens, and not often, but it does happen because they think they're entitled. They think they can manhandle you and tell you what to do. No, but that's what I say for women who come in this industry. they cannot be weak. You can't have that mindset that you have to listen to every single thing they say, because sometimes they're being manipulated. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so they have to be mindful of pick and choose, who they want to mentor under. And in fact, it's up to the person who mentors them. But with women, you just like Orlando said, you have your obstacles, but then you tack on more for women. So
yeah,
I feel that's like a lot in a lot of male dominant industry,
yeah, definitely.
like in the music industry, being a female in the music industry, you have to prove yourself.
Yeah.
And not be a pushover and be confident at the same time.
And don't use your sex appeal or your
exactly.
do that. Use your mind and your skill set.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. Don't use your physical body to attract that. You use your art and your knowledge and you're smart. You make smart decisions. That's how you do it.
Also your character too, they can see right away your character and who you are.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've noticed that a lot, that, like a lot of female tattooers, they will generate that whole, like sex appeal to make up for the, whatever they feel. Even at times, like, I mean, I've known some females where I'm just like, you're phenomenal, telling yourself more than your art, and I think that in a way, sometimes those girls, they tend to forget that their success is what's sexy, like. And I'll be the first one to admit the unpopular general opinion about female tattooers. They're smoking it, man. Like they are smoking dudes left and right when it comes to tattooing. Like I say that, like the oppression is more of an insecurity, because I got tons of female tattoo friends, I mean, like I said, my kid's mom's an artist, and I'm more of the lifting up of the female, like, I mean, I'm a special case. I didn't grow up with a dad. I have, a house full of women. So it's like, I see the empowerment of women. I know what women are capable of doing. I know, I mean, my mom came to this country, she already had a university background, like education, and then she flipped into like, cleaning rooms at hotels. She started all the way back at the bottom and built herself all the way back up. So I know that, like I know what females can do. They get down, and I think that when it is a male-dominated society like tattooing is, it's like the inconvenient truth. Like, not only are you going to get shown up, you're going to get completely like left in the dust, because there is like there probably has been a suppression of like females, because like Marlo said, you have to be tough. And some of them, they just want to do art, like they don't want to deal with that grit. They don't want to deal with like, popping someone in the face if they touch your titty, like, or something in the tattoo shop, like, because in the old school days, those were the females that, that were cutting the, making the cut, the ones that would not put up with any of that male dominated shit. Now it's a little different. I mean, tattooing is like evolving, and I think it's beautiful. I think it's great, so I'm down. I dig it.
When did you guys get your first tattoo? Were you got youngsters and did it? I didn't get my first tattoo until last year. I'll tell you that much.
I don't even
35.
have any.
I was like 5, I think, and I was scared as fuck because my parents are very conservative Hawaiian. And I was drunk though, and it was my friend's idea. When you walk out of a bar, it's not the wisest thing to have a tattoo shop next, like 4 doors down. After you come out. My friend, she's like, "Oh look, open, let's get a tattoo." And it's the first time I ever called her a bitch because I got the tattoo first, and she goes, "I'm a school teacher. Maybe I should rethink this." It's like, "Fuck you, bitch." I have to go home and show this to my fucking parents. Fucking crazy. It was like maybe 2 inches. It was a little lizard that I picked off the guy's wall, and I was so drunk. I was asking him, I said, "Bro, are you like Santa Claus's cousin?" Santa, and I think he was just pissed at me, and I kept telling him I wanted it on my left leg, pointing to my right leg. So he tattooed that shit on my right leg. and just to get me back. But yeah, it was like maybe 2 inches. I think I held my breath for like 2 minutes, and it was done. I was like, yeah, it was an awful experience, but a memorable one.
Is it still there, or did you cover it up?
I actually got a traditional tattoo, a cacao Hawaiian version, like a band to wrap around it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it kind of sort of covered, but it's a traditional tattoo, so it's not like modern machines today where you can actually work your machine. The tools are different, so you can still see it, but it's not an eyesore anymore. So.
What about you, Orlando? Your first tattoo, what was it, and is it still there, or did you cover it up?
Nah, man. You know what? My first tattoo was the beginning of my sleeve, and I gathered up like $150 back in the day, and I mean, when all my friends started getting tattooed, that was back in 1996, 95, 94. So they just needed somebody to sign, and most of the time, like it was like a cool uncle or even like an older brother, someone just came like, So a lot of my friends were getting tattooed. I too grew up in a conservative household. My mom's Mormon, so I grew up Mormon, and she thought that was just like not the jam, to get tattooed. So when I finally kind of ventured out on my own and got the roommates, when you're like fresh and 18, 19, I remember Sean from Creative Visions was the first one to tattoo me because he used to tattoo on my boys. And it's actually a funny story because I've drawn tattoos for all my friends that they took to him. And one day he was just, basically telling me, hey, who did this drawing? And I was like, I did. And then he just looked at me and was like, you did it? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, ha, 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 and he just laughed and took off. I'm like, what? Yeah. And he was just like, it's like, I guess I didn't fit the mold or something. I don't know. But he just like cracked up. And then that's when I started picking his brain about it. That's actually how I got my start, because I was in the shop and he laughed about my artwork. And then I set up an appointment. I was just like, he told me, he's like, how are you going to be a tattoo artist without any tattoos? So, well, let me make an appointment then. But yeah, I was young, man. That was actually, you know what? That was my first professional one. When I was about 12 years old, growing up in Seaside, everyone wants to get the little Seaside Pride tattoos and stuff like that. And I started with like the little S, like the stick and poke.
Yeah.
And I only got to like two little dots.
Hat right here.
Yeah, I got to the two little dots, and then after that I was just like, nah. Like I felt like Miklo getting his like his like freaking blood in, blood out. Yeah, man. So that was actually probably it was like right here, but it's covered up now. Yeah.
I feel like all of our stories are similar. My first tattoo was I was 18 and I drew it, and I was working at the mall and I was like, I want to go get a tattoo. I'm 18 now. And so I got one. Of course, it's, it's early 2000s. So it's the tramp stamp, right? And my parents just moved to a new house, and my mom's Buddhist. So she had the monk come and bless the house early in the morning. And I didn't know you're not supposed to, cover your tattoo because it stains your sheets. So I'm sleeping. My back of my tank top is up, so the tattoo's showing, and I didn't know the monk is coming by to bless the house. Of course, they go into my room, and she didn't know, and it's right there. And I heard about that. I heard about that. You have the monk right there, my mom right there, and tattoo and a tramp stamp right there. I was like, oh, geez, I'm gonna hear it.
I was at a funeral. My mom was sitting in like one of those, when the viewings first before the funeral, the aunties were all like congregated in a room, and this gust of wind blew up the skirt, and my mom, she had like X-ray vision. She's, Hawaiian moms, they say your full name, they're pissed, and all that.
And your full name is probably hella long.
Yeah, Marlo Lualemana, get your butt over here. I joked around a lot. It made her mad because I was joking. She goes, get your butt over here. She goes, you weren't born with that. You weren't birthed with that. I was like, Mom, I can't take it away now. I'm stuck now. I said, let's just be in the moment, Mom. We're here. But we had a whole discussion later that night with my dad. And if anybody's seen my dad, he's this big Hawaiian man. And he's like, well, let's talk about tattoos. I'm fucking 25. I was like, shh.
But doesn't your dad have some tattoos too?
Oh, he doesn't. Well, he has a dot, like a little small dot from a surgery, but that's it. But he actually sat in on a client.
Oh.
And he scared the client so bad. He was like, bro, you trust my daughter? She poke you with plenty needles, bro. You sure? You're not helping me, Dad. The guy I was doing a back calf on the back of his leg, and so he kept, trying to turn around. Like, you're okay. Don't worry. Don't listen to him. But,
yeah, let's give a shout out to Homana though.
Yeah.
I'm rocking the shirt.
right on.
Oh, nice.
Right on.
They have those full sleeve temporary tattoos. Have you seen those? Some people do. They buy. I saw it on Instagram. They had it. It's like a temporary tattoo, full sleeve. I wanted to buy one for my daughter and prank my parents. She's only 10 too, you know.
Do it. That'd be funny. I can't.
So what would you guys say is like your favorite style or something that you specialize in?
Go for it, Marlon.
Well, primarily Polynesian, but I do all kinds. I kind of for me, it's like if I know I cannot do something, I refer. Like I referred a lot of people over to Orlando, or other artists that I feel like can do what some people ask for. I think that's the other thing with artists. You have to be confident in yourself to be able to refer people to other artists that can do better, right? Because you can't be perfect in everything. Yeah. You have to know what you're good at, what you're capable of. It's good to challenge yourself. So for me, it's mostly Polynesian, but I do a lot of floral work, a lot of henna, that kind of stuff. But mostly people come from all over for Polynesia.
It's a trip though. It's kind of like small, like we're small. 831's kind of small, right? So it's like the tattoo industry is probably super small. Does everyone basically like know each other, kind of know what everyone's doing? And it's like, yo, if you want this portrait, go fuck with my dude over here. Don't, you know what I'm saying? I can't fuck with that. Go fuck with my dude over here. Or is it like, is that unity there, like in the industry like that out here?
We're Orlando, me and another friend, Noah. We've been talking about, because it's been the three of us that's been kind of advocating for tattoo shops to open in our area.
Yeah.
So you build that connection. But for me, I actually reached out when all of this started. I reached out to like 20 plus artists, and the only response I got was from Orlando, Noah, and a few other people, but they haven't been proactive. The ones that have been proactive has been Orlando and Noah. He owns Herbalites, and that's pretty much it. So I would say not here. Yeah. Not in this area.
It's got good potential.
Yeah.
It definitely has good potential. Like I think it's a lot of fragile ego, and it's a lot of beefing. I mean, shoot, like I'll be the first one to admit it, man. I'm tough, because I'm a goofy dude. Like when it comes to like joking around and having a good time. So I'm like, haha, here's some good times and some jokes, ha ha ha. All right, now who's gonna clean up? And then everyone looks at me like, oh, you're kidding? No, you're serious? oh, I don't know. So it's like kind of, I kind of have to work on that. But there is definitely, like for me, like there's been a lot of dudes that have worked in my shop that are other places now. So now they're like, like about me, and then but it's just like it literally is. It's I think for me, so it's more so that I really wanted to pretend like I was a little bit busier than I actually was, as far as social, social interactions go. So, that's one of the blessings of COVID, you know, like it makes you kind of get introspective and be like,
Yeah.
you know what, I need to actually extend a hand and be like, what's up, everyone? Like, you know, and then, you know, like you do develop like, you know, like, I mean, I'll be the first one to say, like, Marlo was one of our first emerging leaders in like this whole movement, you know, like I was like the one that was like, so what's up, you know, and then Marlo was just like, yeah, what's up? And then like, she kind of took the torch, you know, like, and then like, we just like, after that, I'm just like, I'm sorry, man, you know what? I'm here, man. I want to be a foot soldier.
Yeah, like to elaborate what he said, he's correct. But you know what? We grow up too in this business. We also learn from our own mistakes, you know. And those who can learn from their mistakes are the ones that are gonna better from it. I feel, you know. I mean, I'm not perfect either. I have a pretty tough personality. I'm a no bullshit kind of person, so I'll call you out, you know. But at the same time, I like to joke around too. But I have to be conscious of how I do it because, like him, sometimes I'll joke around, but then business is business. Yeah. So that's how I lost a lot of apprentices because you know I would and, you know it's a lot of work for us as mentors to take these people on because we already have a busy schedule and you take added people on and you're trying to mentor them. And they're usually young, you know, they're in their early 20s and stuff, and they're eager to go. But a couple months in, they start falling short. They get too comfortable, and then they see the other side of Marlo, you know. And then they're talking to everybody else like, "Why is she so mad?" Well, because you ain't doing shit. That's why, you know. We can joke around, but at the end of the day, you got things to do. You're not an artist. You're not a tattoo artist yet. You are an apprentice. As such, you do what I tell you to do. Then we
that's
play.
big
So
to me, like
you know, we gotta. You know, for me, I have to sometimes step back because I do have a strong personality, and other artists have told me sometimes, Marlo, you can come off a little scary. Oh, what's not? You know, I can't help it, but I've learned that okay, I need to be a little bit more subtle, so because they are intimidated.
So that's the thing though, is like where's that borderline where you can like judge a person where they're like they want to be an apprentice, right? And it's like when are they doing it for the clout or are they actually doing it for like the love of the art? You know what I'm saying? It's like sometimes people just want to mess with you because of your name, right? And it's like how, and that's the way like when with being that hard person, right? Isn't that the way to kind of weed out the people that are like
absolutely,
yo, they're just doing this for clout, like just to be like, yo, I fucking tattooed under Marlo, bruh. Like,
yeah. But you know, at the same time, if they feel wrong, you're gonna hear that fuck Marlo, you know. And if it comes back to me, I'm like this, do. What the fuck did you say? You know what I mean?
check her straight up. Let's go.
Yeah. So you know, I mean, I don't beat around the bush. So if you're gonna talk about me, rather than say it to somebody else, if you have a complaint, you bring it to me. But everybody tells me it's hard to talk to you, Marlo, because you're so intimidating sometimes. I was like,
but maybe people shouldn't talk.
Exactly.
You know, if you got weak skin already and you're an apprentice, you know, I'm just trying to get you geared up. You know what I mean?
It ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work.
Yeah, no, like I mean, and I really think that right now that's kind of like a virus that we have in tattooing. You know, to add to what Marlo just said, I think that there is definitely a weakening in, you know, like I mean, there's been times where I've had to like pull somebody out, you know, like that's been working for me, and no, like you know, just like pull them aside and like have a conversation with them.
Okay.
And I'm just like, yo, you're fucking up, or I need this to be fixed, or this or that, and I'm having a serious conversation with them, and they're kind of like looking at me like, and then all of a sudden in their head they're just like, fuck Orlando, you know, and you know, like they get so sad instead of being like, okay, this is a learning lesson, like maybe he's right, or you know, like let's, you know, everybody, no matter what, there definitely is a, you know, I don't like to be too traditional when it comes to like apprenticeships or being like the shop owner, but for fuck's sakes, man, like Marlo's the shop owner. She deserves that level of respect. I'm the shop owner. I deserve that. You know, like you own a business too, you know, like, so I mean, like can you imagine walking in going, hey man, how come no one swept? And then they're like, why don't you sweep? You know, you're like, what?
Yeah. And you're supposed to be vouching for these people, right? You're the one who's vouching for them. So and then if they're gonna look bad on you, then that makes you look bad.
You're exactly right. And the other thing about that too is they get too comfortable. Like what I tell people is whatever issues you got going on outside this shop stays outside this shop. When you come in this shop, you focus on your art, you focus on studying, you focus on what I teach you. You're going to take that machine apart and you're going to tell me what every part of the machine is, and you're going to put it back together in front of me. And you're going to tell me how you put it back together. You know what I mean? But sometimes what they do is they bring their personal stuff into the shop. Girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, right? I'm having problems with my girlfriend. Well, fuck your girlfriend. You know, it's like, you deal with it. Yeah, even when I get into it with my husband or my family, it's like I shut it out. Yeah. You have to, because you got clients relying on you, right? So if you bring that anger and that emotion into your tattoo, sometimes it can reflect in what you're doing. So I try to train them to leave that outside. So when you come in here, this is your art zone. This is your zen right here. Focus on that. I don't want to hear your girlfriend fucked up and slept with somebody else. Don't come in my shop smelling like, like you just finished drinking from a long night. You know what I mean? Bruh, you right out the door. And just like Orlando, I've had to pull mine out. It's like, and my other artists in the shop would like, oh, Marlo, you were a little hard. Well, you know what? This is my shop. When you own your shop, you'll have to deal with it. But in the meantime, we have expectations, because eventually this person is going to go elsewhere, wherever he decides or she decides to go, and you want them to have the best tools.
And there, I mean, you gotta remember though, like back in the old school days, like I mean, that's kind of like the thing is just like tattooing has still that mentality. It just doesn't have the tools anymore. You know, like I mean, there's still some hot cities where tattooing hasn't changed. You know, like where if you open up on somebody, that like whoever it is that's already open is gonna walk right into those doors, look at you, hit you with that bolo, take your keys, and they're like, my shop now, and you're walking out of town. You know, like you leave everything behind. Like you're just like, well, maybe I should have shook a couple hands before I came into this town. You know, now especially in like Monterey, it's such a like peaceful place. I mean, yeah, we can verbalize it and be like, yo, man, like that's bad, dude. Like you shouldn't do that. I mean, now even like we've had, certain artists that they're just like tantruming and they're like, you know what, let's open that because we can do so much better. And that's why you end up with like a million shops, because everyone's got that thin skin. They can't take they can't take somebody telling them, because in their mind they already think that they're better.
And to add to that, they can open a shop, but it doesn't mean they're good.
Yeah.
They're mediocre. It's just that they're pissed off at the previous owner, and they think they have people whispering in their ear like, "Fuck that shit, man. You bad." You know. Well, no, you're not. But
they'll just base that shit off their IG comments.
Yeah, the proof is in how well your shop does.
Yeah.
You know, if you're sitting there waiting for walk-ins, then obviously you got something going wrong.
Yeah.
How you market your shop, the work that comes out of your shop, and I don't know what else. It could be multiple things. But when you own a shop, it's not easy. You have different aspects of a shop owner. Plus, if you're an artist, you got to add that to that. Yeah. That added pressure. So.
Yeah. And I think that's why me and Marlo get along so instantly. Because. We're both kind of cut from the same piece of wood, like we're both goofy. We both like to smile, have a good time. But, when shit gets serious, like, right, but. And I think that was the magnetism through all of this during the COVID stuff and like having to talk to the health department is because I did have that voice. I'm like, yo, what the fuck is cracking, boys? Like, let's get this done. Like why are we sitting here and there's businesses opening up that we're not able to, we're so much cleaner. We're so much more hygienic. We have access to all the stuff. And then, by me vocalizing it, I'm obviously going to attract like-minded people. So when Noah and Marlo and I came together, it's because we did share that voice. We shared that, that level of voice that,
It made us stronger because the fact that it wasn't just one voice. Mm-hmm. It was 3 really good voices that have created this, unique clientele in our community, but also a mutual respect. Yeah. I think back to the people trying to start up shops, they don't have that respect from the beginning because of, thinking that they're better, right?
Yeah.
You gotta be humble. Let your work speak for itself. You know, I strongly believe in that. I always tell people when they start talking, yapping away, and I'm like, and if they can't draw, if I watch them and they just go on the internet and take a picture, you know, and it's immediately just put that onto somebody without a thought, me personally, I don't have respect for that. You know, I always tell people you got to be an artist first.
Definitely,
you know,
definitely.
You have to have that skill set.
Definitely.
Because a person's body, that's your canvas, basically, you know. And I think a lot of younger people, they have that ego. And do you guys feel as if when those reality shows started coming on, you know, for tattooing, it's
LA
changed?
Ink
Yeah, it changed a
Kat
lot
Von
of
D
things.
show,
So
all
like a
that,
lot of
yeah.
people started thinking they can do it more. They started getting more of the ego or anything like that.
I find that people who go on there shouldn't be on there. It makes you look worse than when you were before. You know, there is a guy from Hawaii actually that went on there a few years ago. Oh my God, he was awful, awful. He's so quiet now. He actually even back in the days wrote a book, you know, about Polynesian tattooing. And even his Polynesian work was not on point. But the fact is, he was representing all of us, right? National TV, and he sucked. He couldn't even tattoo a fucking cat. You know what I mean? And that shit was televised. I was like, and you know, and then they say he's Hawaiian, right? And of course they're like, Marlo, he's Hawaiian. I was like, so what the fuck? I said, I don't know, but he made us look bad. So that was embarrassing. I was so happy years went by and everybody stopped bringing it up. But you know, people ask me all the time. They send me links. Marlo, you should try. You will never see me on those kind of shows ever.
No. I've turned that shit down a couple times already. They send, like, I mean, they'll send artists, you know, like, you know, they'll just send artists emails like, hey, you know, like, we think that you'd be great for this show or that show or this or that. And I just reply, and yeah, I'm just like, fuck, you know, because it is in those shows have definitely helped us out. You know, like, I mean, like, now we have such a wide spectrum of clients, you know, like a big spectrum, because they see the TV showing and they're feeling a little wild, and then all of a sudden that, you know, because it is Monterey, then the, you know, like the girls' weekend in Monterey, and then, oh, let's go and, you know, like get some tats on the ankles, you know, and drink, you know, like let's go after the wine tour, and you know,
Well, tattoos has a big influence on culture, you know, and it just like with
roots,
all the different cultures that are influenced by body art, by tattoos. I mean, from music genres to the Polynesian art and Hawaiian art and the tribal art. You know, it's a huge influence. Like, what's that one Netflix? We were talking about was it the Kings of LA Kings with Mr. Cartoon? Did you guys see that?
Oh yeah. No, it's LA Notorious or something like that.
Yeah.
LA Originals.
LA Originals. That's the one.
That's what
it was actually a really good documentary, and it really shined light to see exactly how much influence tattooing has. I mean, just knowing his story, and you know, coming out of East LA, and
like
you know, and going up on tour with all these major artists, and you know, being one of the top tattoo artists in the world, and it's just amazing just how much influence that one person has. People will fly all over the world just to get a tattoo from him. Just like with you, Marlo, people will come all the way from Hawaii or from Samoa just to get a tattoo from you. You know, it's a very special feeling to know that you're recognized for that. You know, just like people, you know.
I actually had a guy come from Dubai, and for like 3 or 4 months we had going back and forth. And I guess he must have assumed Marlo was a guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he got lost. He calls the shop, and I answered the phone, and he's trying to get directions, and I'm like trying to, hold on, baby, I'm talking, huh? Oh, he said my head is crooked. Assistant said my head is crooked. Hold on, it's the hair. But he said I got a heavy head. Hey, no problem commentary, okay? The moment.
What's up, Billy?
Yeah, what's up,
EJ
man?
said what's up, babe. Everybody said what's up. So anyway, so he walked up, and he sees me, and he goes, I'm looking for Marlo. Is he in? And all of a sudden, you heard the tattoo machine stop, and the windows slowly creep open. Because if you know me, you know my personality, right? I'm looking at him like, what? He's like, yeah, I'm looking for Marlo. I go, oh, I'm Marlo. And he stands and he goes, you're a woman. I was like, oh shit. I was like, where's this guy? You're a woman, and he puts these very like, like dramatic with his hands and stuff. He talks with his hands, and he's like, he puts his hands on his hip, and he's like, this is unusual. I've never been tattooed by a woman. I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, well, bruh, I'm a woman, so what's up? In my country, women, the women, they don't, do this. And I said, well, you're not there, brother. You're in America, so, it is what it is. But you tell me, I said, you want to do this or not? I said, and he goes, oh, no, I'm going to go back to my country and I'm going to tell my people I was tattooed by a woman. They won't believe me. I was like, shit.
Well,
yeah,
I mean,
for 3 or 4 months. And I didn't even think to mention because, I don't think people, they're from, I guess other countries don't assume maybe the whole masculine and feminine O and A, you know what I mean? How you say it. So maybe if I said Marla, he would have, okay, but my name's Marlo, right?
Yeah.
So.
But you would think they would research, or look it up or something, beforehand.
Well, it's funny because I just assumed he was, in the U.S. So when I was emailing him and saying, "Hey, yo, man, here's my number. Just hit me up. We'll talk." He goes, "I would love to, but I'm in Dubai." And I thought Dubai was in India. I was like, "Where the fuck is Dubai? Is that India?" I was like, "Hey, I'm from Hawaii. We don't know much about that stuff." Cool story, but he ended up being a pretty nice guy. In fact, he would bring his wife out of the country about once or twice a year so that she was free to be who she wanted to.
Cool.
You get that.
He actually turned out, he actually turned out to be a pretty nice guy. So, and he paid very well. So.
Like in like places like Dubai and stuff like that, like to add to the her being with, yeah, man, like there's certain little parts of the Middle East where women can drive, and I kid you not, like I don't know if it's Dubai, but I know that it's in like there's certain little cities where it's a little bit more free, like it's kind of like their type of Vegas, where like all rules are off, as long as they're still kind of covered. And yeah, you see like just women like pinning it in Bugattis, and they'll just like their dudes will buy the Bugatti for the weekend, and then they'll just abandon it. Like over in the UAE, there's abandoned luxury cars everywhere. Like they're literally getting eaten up by the sand. Like, I want to start some business where you pick those up and then bring them over here,
Right?
Yeah. Take one. Let me get one real quick.
One for you, one for you,
one
for you.
Just order the crates and just, crate feed, like, all right,
Yeah.
Just fulfill those dreams that we had when we were all 16 trying to crate Japanese cars, all the way over here.
Oh.
So I got a question. I know you guys been really active on the movement as far as getting tattoo shops back open with COVID-19 and everything else. Is with the reopening of California and all these, like we mentioned before, barbershops just open, nail salons are still closed, and a lot of ladies out there want their nails done. Talk about that a little bit, about the movement that you guys have been putting forth and how much impact you have, because Marlo, you've been going crazy on this whole thing. Once your voice opened up, man, it just, your voice is going to get heard. And between you guys and the movement that you guys been putting out forth, and you got a meeting with the health department coming up. So shine a little bit light on what you guys have been going throughout this whole time of being out of work and trying to get back open.
It's a lot I couldn't tell you all of it in this time, but it's quite a bit. Basically, it's trying to explain to them that tattooing isn't just what you hear, tattoo, right? It actually helps people, right? We're trying to convey to them that it's a healing process. People use tattooing to heal, whether spiritually, whether mentally, whether physically. A lot of people today use tattoos to help them get over things. In my case, I can speak for myself. You know, people dealing with like PTSD or dealing with the loss of a family member, or you know, some people overcoming suicide attempts. You know, the list can just go on, and of course, you have your good stuff where people have a child and they want to you know, do something to honor their baby or things like that. So I think people who don't have tattoos don't understand the industry. So what we were trying to do is get them to understand that it goes beyond just the actual physical tattoo. You know, it's the time that you spend with these people to get to know them.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, we're not licensed therapists, we're not psychiatrists, we're not psychologists, but we have life experiences, right? And so our own personal life experiences, uh, and sharing our backgrounds with people have helped people. In my case, I have. So it goes beyond that. And then, you know, it's our livelihood.
Yeah.
You know, and trying to tell people that you're taking away from our children, feeding our children, putting a roof over our family, things like that. When they themselves are either working remotely or they still have their physical job that they go to, right? We don't.
Yeah.
You know, obviously for, you know, health reasons, you know, you're not supposed to tattoo at your home or somebody's house or whatever, right? But, you know, I don't fault any artist for doing that, because, you know, if you don't have unemployment, if you don't have a personal loan, if you don't get all of these things, you're kind of shit out of luck, right?
Yeah.
Because you can't ask your family because everybody's in the same position. So what do? You have to do what you have to do. But most professional artists, if they have to, because sometimes I've worked in a hotel, you know what I mean? I've gone back home to Hawaii and worked out of a hotel and had people come over. But we have just our methods of cleaning and stuff. So we take that with us, right? But at the same time, I wouldn't recommend it. But you know, you do what you have to.
Yeah.
So just trying to instill in them that we're not dumb. We're not, you know, we're not fresh out of jail. We're not, you know, we actually are pretty educated people, but we have, you know, we just have a different job.
So several counties throughout California, Monterey, Santa Clara, that I know for sure have been announced that they're going to be reopening more on the 19th. And I know you have a meeting with the health department before they got to go over all the guidelines. Now, we don't know what those guidelines are, but what are some things that you're anticipating as far as what they're going to expect before they actually give you guys the green light to fully open?
They're going to expect that.
No.
They're going to expect just like, you know, the regular things that we have to go through, you know, like bloodborne pathogens training updates, you know, making sure that we're using the proper disinfectants. You know, that we're going to, you know, be using single-use needles, you know.
Things that you guys already do anyway.
Things that we already do,
Yeah.
you know, like, I mean, all our aseptic practices are just like, you know, just over the top because they have to be, you know. And we're you know, we're thinking, you know, like in the tattoo industry, we don't err on the side of you know, I mean, we err on the side of caution more because, you know, we would rather be mistakenly overcautious than you know, than what, you know, what the consequences would be if you lax. So yeah, you know, like we're wiping everything down and stuff like that. Now the new protocol is going to be that, you know, like we have to, you know, wear the face masks and do appointment only. There's not going to be a communal waiting area. They have to wait outside. They only come in to get tattooed and walk out. There's nothing really, you know, they're taking like, in a way, like that little social aspect where, you know, where there would be like some sort of interaction, you know, and yeah, you know, like just making sure that we, you know, everything gets wiped down, that gets touched, you know. I don't think that they're going to allow us to have public access to the restrooms anymore. So that's only going to be for the, you know, and then we also have to monitor ourselves. We have to make sure that we're, you know, we're symptom free. We have to make sure that we're capable of working and that we're not spreading stuff like that either, you know. You know, like there definitely is a certain degree of greed in a percentage of everybody, you know, like, I mean, whether you're, you know, like a cash register lady or you know, or a cop or something, like, I mean, you got to get that paper, you know, you're going to have to go to work. And if you don't if you don't go, hey, remove yourself, and have that responsibility. I think that's the number one too. Make sure that you're cool, make sure that your clients are cool. Like it's beyond. I mean, we're thinking, we're always brainstorming and thinking, like, even now, like with what we're doing, it's great because now we have Marlo, I, and Noah have this, little connection where I could easily be like, yo, I found the PPP over here at this price, like where, like it's easier for us to get ready, like, and there definitely is these little like these little shop owners in the cutties, like, like they don't want to, it's like they text Marlo on the low, they text Noah on the low, or they text me on the low, just because, whatever it is, they're like, hey, what are you guys going to do with this? What are you guys going to do with that? So yeah. And like, I mean, like we're getting ready, we have to put all the signage up basically, which is a trip, man, because I don't want to have no like lunatic talking about I'm not going to wear a mask and then like, try to cause some stink,
yeah. So you have to take temperatures before they come in and all that too? Okay.
Yep, all of that. The hand sanitizer, all of that. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
Yep.
That's so crazy.
I mean, and we already are cautious because we're dealing with people's blood.
Mm-hmm.
And no matter, even though they fill out a release form, not everybody's going to say, I had hepatitis or I had, TB and I got this, you know what I mean? It's like, so we already put ourselves out there because of that, right?
Risk already.
Right, correct. And so when you're like Orlando said, we already take all those precautions. We already do that. To go into COVID, we're already ready. We're ready. It's just we got to add extra shit now.
And is that gonna fuck with you guys too? Like wearing a mask like all the time? Like some sessions are gonna be a long ass time. Then I'd be wearing that shit for like when I'm driving or just wherever. When I'm in a grocery store, that should be fucking with my ears already. I'm just like, man, this shit irritating as fuck. Like,
I mean, we don't have a choice. It's our livelihood. So
that's true. Yeah.
And hopefully, within a few months, we can start to kind of like eliminate that stuff, and get back to some normalcy, whatever that is.
But first things first, we got to get you guys open again. We got to get you guys going.
Normal, though. Like,
Did you guys sign the petition?
I signed it. I did.
Yeah. That's what's up.
I signed it. I signed it and shared it.
I signed it and shared it.
And it wouldn't be right if I didn't, support both of my tattoo artists. I mean, it wouldn't be right if I didn't.
Especially right before their episode.
Yeah. So when do you go into the health department?
I'm going tomorrow. I'm tired of playing phone tag.
Yeah. We just go in there. I mean, you just take a page out of protest. It's in protest season. We might as well just every one of your clients should just go up there.
Let's tell everyone to go over there right now.
If I got a protest, shoot, I'll do what I have to. But I already got a target on my back. I don't care. It's for the betterment of all of us here. Mm-hmm. I'm not doing it just for myself. This is for all of us.
The community.
Regardless of how some artists feel, or that's on them.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, me, Orlando, and Noah can go to sleep and say we did our best, right?
Absolutely.
And so that's how I feel. I could really care less what others feel, or we're doing this for the betterment of our community, for tattoo shop owners, for artists, and hopefully it shows up and coming artists, and it shows the ones that haven't been proactive, that makes them think, well, maybe I should have did something, And if something ever happens like this again, we might possibly get more people.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And I remember in one of the first meetings, I think it was the first meeting where when we were there with the health department. I remember, I don't know where it came from, but I just remember saying, hey man, like, I think that we all need to come together and work towards this common goal so we can get back to the normal, not liking each other.
Yeah.
And then everyone was like, because I mean, you got to call a spade, it's just like, it just seems like that, but now it doesn't, because there is I mean, there is a lot of personalities in tattooing. There's a lot of dudes that are introverted, really good dudes, just can't talk. I talk to more people, like more people's wives. You know, the wives are like, yo, Orlando, what's up? Like, do you know anything about the opening? Like, what can I do to help? Like, my husband's over here. Like, you know, we're over here doing this. We're over here doing that. And then, you know, and then they even go, hey, you know what? My husband would have called you, but he's kind of an introspective dude, you know, or I mean, not introspective, but introverted dude, you know, like he's, you know, like he's not really the talkative type. You know, I'm over
You're
here.
exactly right. You're exactly right. I've been getting the wives that call.
Yeah,
Hey,
the wives are calling.
I'm the wife of so and so. We own seasick, you know. And I was like, you know, and I can
Like,
get
all
that.
right.
Yeah, you know, and I get that. And even for me and my husband, even when we have to deal with stuff outside of our shop, I'm the one that talks, yeah. And so I understand that. I totally understand that.
It's probably also because they want them out of the house.
Right, yeah.
Girls, that women's perspective.
You know,
right there.
they've been quarantined a little too long.
We need you to get out the house for like 4 hours. Go get yourself a tattoo.
The refrigerator open.
Yeah, man, that's probably what
I need my space now, you know.
Yeah. My kid's mom was smart. She quarantined at her parents.
I think my husband's ready to kick me to the shop.
So you guys made a huge in the last couple of months, more so in the last couple of weeks, but you guys really been making a big impact with what you guys are trying to do, and you know, not just for you guys, but for all tattoo shop owners and artists. Has anybody from outside of the Monterey Bay community has been reaching out, who has been going through similar things and showing the same support and in, you know, trying to build up for their community as well?
I mean, we've been in the industry for a while.
Yeah.
And so you develop relationships because, you know, you either connect through social media or if you travel or whatever the case may be, you make those connections. So, yeah, absolutely. I mean, we were all we all are in the same boat, right? Across the world. So, of course, you're going to connect and ask each other, hey, how are you guys doing over there? You know, of course, I talk to my friends back home in Hawaii, you know, or even here, you know, all along California and stuff. Everybody's just kind of like touching bases. Hey, how are you guys doing? Any word? You know, you're reaching for whatever you can.
Yeah.
Because obviously our state and our local counties aren't doing shit. You know, they're not communicating or answering the questions. They're either vague or they don't answer. So what do? You reach out to your community. You reach out to your fellow shop owners and artists. So yeah, absolutely. You reach out. You connect.
So before we end the show, why don't you guys tell people how they could support, what's the links that they could follow into how they could support your guys' movement in reopening tattoo shops?
Orlando, you want to say anything?
How can somebody support? Shoot,
people.
Man, like call the health department, call Dr. Moreno, you know, like call all those cats, you know, like, I mean, we're noticing like we are in a transition of birthing where we're making this world what we want it to be. You know what I mean? Like with the protests and with, I mean, like voices that have been so silent for so long, you know, like, so I mean, the power of a phone call, the power of being like, hey man, this ain't right, you know, like it's actually being heard, you know, like in like a thundering sound, you know, like, so, you know, like right now, I mean, shoot, man, if we want more Hawaiian food in Monterey, you know, like we can just talk about that too.
You know? I'm all about that.
You know
but he just heard about Kyoki stuff.
I did. Someone put me on just now, and they're like, "Bro, we did it for years," and I'm like, you know? No, but seriously, like we gotta just join together as a community. You know, we are tattoo enthusiasts first. Then after that, you know, like, and I need to emphasize this right now to all the clients and tattoo enthusiasts. Look at us right here. You know, we are a tattoo community. You know, like you can talk to us anytime. You know, like Marlo's clients always welcome to talk to me about how to do this and that. You know, like there is no beef in tattooing. You know, like there isn't. You know, like I mean, there is some dudes that I would probably pop in the mouth, but then I'd invite them to the beer. You know what I mean? I'd be like, all right, I'm gonna hit you in the face. Let's go get a beer out. You know?
I'm not as nice as him.
But you know what
like,
I'm saying? Like, so there is, like there definitely needs to be a more organized community. I mean, you go to another city, and I'll go guest spot, and Marlo can say the same thing too. Like we'll go to another city, and you sit there at a tattoo shop, and then your homies are like, hey, let's go see Roger down the street, and then like you literally walk a block down the street to another tattoo shop, and you're like, what's up, Roger? And then he's like, oh yeah, like he's just putting it down, just like you. So I mean, like I think that there is a lot of like, I mean, I've even approached people like, yo, like, like, is that Marlo's Polynesian work? And they're like, oh yeah, like all weird because they know who I am, and or they'll even hide it, like I've had people that, I mean, I've even had to go out of my way to be like, damn, what Marlo added to my tat is sick, and then they're just like, oh, you like it? Like, dude, like, like if it looks cool, I'm gonna give it props. If it don't look cool, I'm gonna be like, I didn't teach you then, like you need to come back and take a couple more lessons, So yeah, but yeah, I mean, just use your voice. Some of the websites would be the links that we have on our Instagrams. That's the first one. That petition is big.
Yeah, we started a page on Facebook. You can check that out. Let me get it so we can put that out there. Also, change.org. We still have that petition out. And you know what? I don't wanna stop the flow because I don't want them to think that, oh, okay, we're done. They're not gonna hear from us. We have to keep voicing. That's how change happens.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And we can't just stop here. I realized. I was telling the boys, I was like, we have to advocate for our community. We have to. I realized, I never knew so much about local politics until this.
Seriously.
Yeah.
And you learn a lot, and you learn a lot about how people view your industry.
Mm-hmm.
In our case, I learned that there's not a lot of respect. And it's a misunderstanding. They don't know us. And so, we invite them, come to our shop, come check us out. It's like, you can't judge a book by its cover. Obviously, I have tattoos on my face. And so some of the people who wrote comments were like, oh my God, she's tattooed on her face. Duh. So we have a page. It's called Support Local Tattoo Shops. And I even included piercing and permanent makeup artists. I wasn't trying to
on Facebook?
Yeah, on Facebook. Yeah, support local tattoo shops / piercing and PMU. I wasn't, I wanted to show the rest of the community that us tattoo artists, we care about your industry as well because we're all affected, right?
Oh, yeah.
And then you can go to change.org, and we still have that petition going on. Let me get that for you. So if you go to change.org, there's a petition, allow tattoo shops to open. And, just for the, 4 or 5 days we started, we actually got over 2,000 signatures.
Wow.
So that's pretty good for Monterey.
Wow.
We're a small area, but we reached out. We just got on our social media pages. We reached out to, and, the hashtags help a lot, right? So you hashtag the shit out of your post that reaches, IG land and whatever. But and just go to our pages. We'll update. Especially me, I'll try my best to update what we can. Like I said, we built a really good relationship, Orlando and Noah. So we're definitely gonna stay in touch and just keep this going and advocate for our industry and so just support not just your local artists, but support the industry, support tattooing, because we do a lot of good for the community. It's not just about the tattoo, it's about what you gain out of it if it's something that helps you to heal.
That's probably the most therapeutic thing I've ever done was get a tattoo last year, and it was like, we need to keep doing this, so it's cool.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing I do know, when we do reopen up, we need to have a big grand reopening party.
Oh, we already talking about
Moses.
that.
I'll be there to DJ. Me and Nita will be there for sure.
Bro, I'm already like, you better be like ready.
We ready.
As soon as I get to go, it's all about
When we're talking through the text messages, because we have a little text message, a group text thing, I was already dropping that hints. I was like, hey, does anyone know how to cook a pig? What's up?
And then
dropping the hits, you know, like, hey, what's up? You know, like,
But and then he was like, we'll invite the other shop people, shop owners. It's like, Marlo, you can bring some Samoans. I was like, for security.
Bring all your cousins.
Yeah.
So Orlando, tell them our hashtag. What was our hashtag for what did we say? Poly essay something. I was like,
the poly essay guy movement.
Poly essay guy movement.
That's our hashtag, the poly essay guy movement.
Yeah.
Because Noah's our driving force. He's an over 6 foot white guy. You know, like they get things done. You know, like whenever it comes to politics, you got to have at least one over 6 foot white guy.
It works though. It works.
He's our co-signer. You know.
The gamut of the world. You got your Hispanic, you got your poly, and you got your, American.
American. So, where's Noah's shop at? Where's his shop at?
Noah's shop is called Harbor Light Tattoo. It's on Abrego.
Okay, we got to give him a shout out too because he's been putting out just as much work as you guys, and so definitely got to give him a shout out.
Like, he's one of the real ones, man. Like, I mean, definitely, he's definitely one of those dudes that we are definitely excited to have like this link with. He puts it down. He keeps his head, he keeps his head down, and his ears up, and that's the best thing that you could do as a tattooer. No beef, handle it quick so it doesn't get out of hand. And just like reach a hand out instead of a fist. That kind of thing,
Unless if you give him a dap, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, you gotta do the elbow now, though.
Oh yeah, you gotta give the.
You gotta do the demolition man.
You gotta give him the weenus tap. You gotta give him the weenus tap.
You give him the demolition man. Dude.
Wait, that's still not social distancing, right? You just gotta do it from a distance.
Yeah. You gotta do the kid and play dance with the toe taps.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the toe tap thing. I saw the soccer players do the toe tap.
Yeah.
That's right.
We are going to wrap things up. It's been a pleasure having you guys, on the show, on the 360 Chop Shop podcast. Let everybody know where they could follow you, where your shop is, so when we get things open, they're going to come see you guys to get tattoos.
Go for it, Marlo. You go first.
Okay, you can find me, Marlo Lualemana, on Instagram, just like that, at Marlo Lualemana. We also have a Earthbound tattoo page on Instagram, Facebook, Marlo Lualemana. Email earthboundtattoostudio@gmail.com if you have questions. I mean, I'm pretty out there. I'm sure if they just Google my name, it just
Yeah. And for me, it's just my name, Orlando Ferron. That's my Instagram. I got the Facebook too, Orlando Ferron, Iron Crown Tattoo on the corner of Foam and Drake in Monterey. I can be reached through the Iron Crown Tattoo Gmail as well. It's ironcrowntattoo@gmail.com. Or just the Instagram sites, typical stuff. Same thing, Google us. It's the tech world, man. You got mini computers in hand,
Oh yeah, address, shop address. We're in San City, 490 Orange Avenue, Suite B, right behind Ichiriki's.
Okay.
And,
that's in Seaside, California. Seaside, San City, same thing.
And I'm over at 380 Foam Street, Suite C in Monterey, right across the street from Schulte Park, where bums like to play with their poop. No, real talk. Before I got a funny story. I had this dude working with me one time, and then he looks out the window and he's just like, "You see that shit?" And I'm like, "What?" And there's a little picnic bench on the at the park,
Literal.
And there's a couple, and they're just like fooling around a little bit, kissing and stuff like that. I'm like, "Yeah." He's just like, "Dude, that guy's straight fuck." And I'm like, "No, he's not." He's like, "Yeah, dude, for real. Go look." And then, he looked out there, and then he literally stood out there, and then this guy's just getting them cheeks, like. Oh, you see it all, and I'm not kidding, man. We see dudes playing with their poo poo, we see all the crazy stuff out there. That's the place. That's our entertainment, if it is go slow, I mean, it's rare that we're slow, but when it does get a little slow, we'll go out there and see what the bums are doing, you know, and we might, you know, catch a show or something.
Catch the bum fights.
We don't really get that excitement. We just get. I just see the ladies with the foil walking around. You know.
What? For what? Foil?
Yeah, no, because they're getting their hair did. So
okay.
Walking around and like.
I thought they were using that satellite or some shit.
Trying to catch a radio signal.
Yeah.
They're trying to catch that 5G better.
You know? Yeah. They're on that LTE status right now. So
it's like this. You know.
All right. We're going to wrap things up. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the 360 Chop Shop Podcast. Make sure you do follow us because we are streaming on all podcast networks. We will be on Spotify. We will be on Apple Podcasts, Anchor.fm. You guys can catch this episode. And, of course, make sure you do follow us on Instagram at 360 Chop Shop. And, of course, our Twitch TV /360_Chop Shop. Thank y'all so much. Marlo, Orlando, it's been a pleasure having you guys on here. And you know what? We support you 100%, and I can't wait to get you guys open because I need to finish my sleeve. I need to finish it. It's empty. I need to finish it. All right, y'all. Well, we are done. Thank y'all so much. We are out of here. God bless you guys. Have a great night. Have a great week.